Hey everyone, welcome back to the library stage. I am so excited today. This week we are joined by Maegen Cockrell, who is beginning her 14th year in education and sixth as a librarian. She is currently a high school librarian for Killeen High School, and she serves as the district lead librarian for high schools. Her favorite part of being a librarian is connecting with students and staff about books. I'm so happy to have you here. Maegen, you have the stage.
Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about escape rooms. So, my family is big into escape rooms, it's a hobby of ours. And so, when I was teaching, I thought, how can I bring this into the classroom? And I did small little escape rooms for classrooms. But then when I moved into the library, I'm like, this is a huge space. I have to figure this out. So, I collaborate. I was an elementary librarian for 2 years, and I collaborated with third grade teachers, and we did author's point of view, and I hid pieces all around the library and stuff where the clues were, and the kids loved it, and they kept asking for more. And so I would create little ones for the younger kids and stuff like that, like a leprechaun, and they had to go find them and get the pot of gold. But then when I moved to high school, I knew there was a big need for it, or like teachers would request it quite a bit. And so I was a history teacher. And so I started working with the history department my first year, and they would kind of just tell me the topic, and I'd be like, oh yes, I can do this. And so I would create them, and they would take them to their classrooms. However, some did not go as well as expected. I don't know if it wasn't because they didn't understand my vision or what, but if I would walk the teachers through it, it would work a lot better. My first year, we decided to do a fun Christmas escape room and invite students and staff. And I even took it to the Librarian PLC, our monthly meeting, and invited everybody to come. We had one group show up, and we had decorated an entire room, made it like elf. We worked hours decorating and putting this together. And so that was very disheartening. And I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. But then the next year, my second year, I worked with the English department quite a bit, became pretty good friends with a few people on the English department. And one of the teachers asked, hey, this is what we're reviewing. Can you make something for me? He said, but would you mind having it in the library? And I'm like, no, that would be fantastic. Let's do this. So the first one I did was around Halloween, and it was Ken, the haunted library is what I did it as. And they had to release the library ghost at the end, and it was entrapped in a study room, and they had to go figure out and find the key to let him out. That one was so much fun. And I did manipulative that one, that like we printed 3D skulls because we had Day of the Dead, and we had villains hung up around the library that they had to go find. But that one hit Teaks that I worked with the teacher on. It was the author's point of view. We hit that teak, and reading different types of fiction to decide what they were. And it also had figurative language in it. And then fast forward to Christmas time. Well, I presented that one at the Halloween one. I did present that at our librarian meeting, and everybody, I had them actually do it. I had the librarians do it for our session that morning, and they really liked it. And they kept asking questions. Can you share? Can you do this? I said, yeah, of course. The teacher was doing the end of course benchmark exam, and he sent me all the stuff, and he's like, can we do this again? Let's do it. And I was like, yeah, cool. And we did the teaks of rhyme scheme, figurative language, all these different ones that they had to hit, satire, irony, all of those that they had to hit for their benchmark exam near Christmas, their semester exam, and to review. So I set that up, and we did it. And that's the one that's the documents that I put together. They really, really liked it. The teacher was frustrated because he said not very many people participated, but I thought it was pretty good because I thought 95% were participating. But it was so fun to do it and get in there. And it made me feel a lot better because last Christmas I had no buy in. And then this Christmas I did. And then talking with other librarians, they were like, hey, could you scaffold this down to elementary? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I tweaked it up a little bit. They did author's purpose. And then we had figurative language that we hit. And we also, what else did we hit? We did a plot, theme, the parts of a story is what I hit with them. And so I went to two different third grade libraries, and I did three classes at one library. And the teachers were like, "How did you do this? How did you know this is what we were studying?" And I was like, "Well, I just looked at your teaks and where you are in your, instructional focus document." And I was like, "I can do this. We'll do it." They wanted me to come back, but because of craziness with scheduling and testing and everything going on, I didn't really get to. But it was so much fun. The third graders, they were so excited to do an escape room. And they kept asking, "Can you come back? Can we do more?" It was great. It just takes a lot of prep on my end. I do use Chat GPT sometimes to kind of give me fine tune ideas, and then I'll take it and run with it. And then the Christmas ones I also presented at our librarian meeting later on. And one of the librarians, she came up to me after. She said, "I have a weird question to ask." And I said, "Yeah, go for it." She said, "Can you create me an escape room to give to my kids for Christmas? Because we're taking them to the Dominican Republic in June. So will you do that for me?" And I was like, "Yes, sure." So I actually created, and then she sent me a video on Christmas Eve. They did the whole escape room and they got to see. So it's really, I mean, it's fun. I think everybody, to me, more kids are engaged in actually, like, one of the days right before Christmas break, the Christmas one that I did at the high school, a teacher was like, "We have like an hour and a half because our schedule's different because it's finals and things like that." She's like, "Can we come kill time and do this?" And I was like, "Yes." And those kids were so engaged in it and everybody tried. It was so fun watching them. It's just, I think it's a neat way to pull in different teaks. I'm trying to get more people to go. I did a math one my first year, but I would really like to have more classes come down to the library so I can just facilitate it all and give the teachers kind of a break. I think they don't realize what librarians can do in that aspect. And if I show them, "Hey, I can put all this together and y'all just come down and have fun," it'll be a bigger buy in, I hope. I'm trying to get that out there more. I need to promote it more. I'm not really sure how, but yeah, I just feel like escape rooms are a great way to get kids engaged in the library. And if we try again to do like a fun one, I would hope we'd have more buy in. I think we need to choose a different time to do it. If we're doing like a school wide one and promote it differently, maybe Christmas wasn't the best time. I'm thinking maybe like Halloween when we're not so busy. But yeah, I love doing escape rooms and it makes my brain think in a different way that I don't usually get to use my brain in, and it just helps me be creative in a different way. And it's one of my favorite things to do as a librarian.
I love that, and I think buy-in is so hard at the high school level. So, doing something like this that is more like it's transformative, but it also meets like the requirements that teachers have to teach, like that's the best way to get teacher buy-in is that you not only are doing all the work and the prep, but you're helping them meet their own goals in the classroom. And then you're also kind of giving them time to just enjoy their kids or like you said a break. And I love that, and I also love that you gave resources. Can you tell us about the two resources that they're going to find when they go to those Google Drive folders?
Yeah, so the first one is the high school one, and it's basically around Christmas. And there's a welcome video in there. It's like the polar news and "Can you help Santa save Christmas?" And so it starts out with a poem of rhyme scheme, and they have to figure that out. And that one, I actually, the teacher hid it around the library with folders. There's also group numbers on there, and he would hide it around the library. And sometimes he would let the kids hide it, and then we couldn't find it, and groups are way behind. It was a little chaos. So the next time we learned that, hey, if you're going to hide it somewhere, you need to let me know so I can help the kids. But it was so much fun because they would open it and they'd figure out the rhyme scheme. And then they had a really hard time with the italicized. They didn't get it. And I'm like, which one's a little bit different? And they're like, "I don't know." And so, but it was fun. And so they do rhyme scheme with that. And then that opens a box where they have a map. And actually, I did it very personalized to that teacher. But the only thing with the map is just my advice, if you're going to use that map, is print one and do your pencils on where your numbers are, and then do your map line. That way, when you're writing it in the blackout light on there, you don't get messed up, because I got messed up quite a few times. Anyways, that would be my advice to that. And then once they found the map, then they opened up another box and had to find different figurative languages. And I hid them around the library with like little stockings and stuff and trees and things like that. And then once they got that, they opened, you'll be able to find this all in the resources. They opened another box and it had Morse code, and it was a fun little riddle that they had to do. And then they had to unlock the last box with the solution of the riddle, and that was snow. And it took them about 30, 35 minutes to do it. If I remember correctly, not everybody finished. It was a race. I think part of that was because of the hidden folders around the library. They couldn't find them, but it was fun. They really enjoyed it. And then on the third grade resources is how I scaffold that one down to meet the teaks of third grade. So the very first one is when the students will have to read and decide whether it is to perform, I'm not to persuade, inform, or entertain. And that one is to persuade. And then you hang up those on the walls. You hang up persuade, inform, entertain on walls, and part of the letters are colored, and so they'll have to correspond that to the alphabet cipher, and then that opens up, and then it's kind of the same thing with the figurative language. That one's a little bit shorter because they only had 20 minutes, but they really enjoyed it running it all over the library and stuff. And I tell them, just don't hit anything. You can run, you can have fun. I don't care how loud you are, just be careful and watch out for each other. But those are the documents in there, and I put instructions in there as well. If you need anything from that, my email's on there. Y'all can email me, and I'll be happy to help. And boxes, sometimes it's hard to find boxes to lock and stuff. I have taken suitcases, zip tied the zippers together, and locked that. That's what I use in a classroom. Or zip tied cabinets together and put the locks on the cabinets. You got to be kind of creative if you don't have a budget for lock boxes. But that's what I've done. Like I had suitcases all over my room before. I just found ways not to spend money to lock them. And you could really do it as a digital form too in Google. You could digitally lock it, stuff like that too.
Yeah, I love that as an alternative for Breakout EDU because those boxes can be expensive.
Hmm.
Even doing like the cheaper versions on Amazon, like buying your own stuff, is still price like it's still spending money.
Hmm.
So I like that this is a great alternative to that. And I so appreciate you sharing these resources because this is going to save librarians a lot of time. And it's easy to take like the high school one and maybe bring it down for middle
Hmm.
school or take the
Yeah.
third grade one and bring it up for middle school. So I think no matter what level you work with, these resources are going to be so great for you. And now for our curtain call. You have 3 books, which means you are a girl after my own heart because I also would have chosen 3 books to recommend if it were me. So let me hear 'em.
So, If We Never End by Laura Taylor Namey, so different. Loved it. Unexpected twist at the end. Completely loved it. Scammers by Tiffany Jackson. Oh my God. This book is so good. And I recommend it all the time. I probably shouldn't say this, but I bought it and passed it around because we couldn't order new books until like May, but I made sure girls got it and the people that wanted to read it, I put it in their hands. And then the last one is coming out August the 6th. It's Killing Sadie by Rachel Peterson. It's a thriller, murder mystery, kind of twist your mind a little bit. It was really good.
I loved all 3 of those books. So I was just like so excited when I saw them you were recommending. I definitely think those are all 3. Well, If We Never End might be able to
But
be in middle school, but the others are for young adults in a
mhm.
high school. So if you're looking for recommendations for what to order this fall, I highly recommend those 3 as well. All right. Thank you so much for coming on today. So, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. If you want to follow along with Megan's library adventures, she is on TikTok at Meg Mercedes and then Instagram at Mrs.C_histeach. All of those will be linked in the show notes, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.